Hello, hello. Who is out there? I can see someone is there with me and it's working and we're on YouTube and it's making me happy. Tell me, who's there with me? Hello, hello. If you join me on YouTube, if you follow the link through YouTube, you can chat with me on the YouTube chat. So let me know if you're there. Let me know who you are. I am so happy that this is working. You have no idea. Three people already. The crowd is growing. Hello, hello. I would love to know who you are so that I know who I'm talking to. Hey, Sophia. Hi, honey. Knock, knock, knock. I missed you the whole afternoon. Oh, that is not good. What is that? Okay, I might have to take another phone call from my son because he just called me. He actually called me at 2 minutes before 8. He's in a complete panic because he has his first Scouts camp next week. He's never done it. He's with his dad now. His dad has never done that kind of stuff. And they're completely lost on how to prep for it. So he called me in total panic not to know how to prep his backpack. So tomorrow he's spending the day with me, as it's the last day before the surgery, and I will be prepping his stuff with him. Among the 2,654 other things I have to do. So who else is there with us? If you're on the YouTube page, you can chat with us. So from the Patreon page, you need to click on the link so that you can join me on YouTube, and then you can activate the chat to chat with me. Hello, hello. Someone else just peeped in. Maybe I should write it on the Facebook group. I'm gonna do just that. Ooh. Patreon. There we go. Hey, Natasha. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. Okay, this is my son calling again. I'm sorry, I have to pick this up. Ja, schatje. Die zijn niet bij papa? Nochtans, hier waren ze ook niet, want we hebben gezocht. Ik ben nu live. Ik kan nu niet direct gaan kijken. Als ik gedaan heb, dan zal ik gaan kijken. Kijk nog eens goed bij papa. Oké, Thibaut, zo gauw ik hier klaar ben, ga ik boven nog eens gaan zien. Die zal wel terechtkomen. Oké? Ik zal u straks terugbellen als ik gekeken heb. Maar dat kan wel een beetje laat worden. Oké? Oké, tot strakjes. En niet zo stressen, schatje, dat is niet nodig. Het komt allemaal in orde. Het komt allemaal in orde. Tot strakjes. Tada! Wow, he is completely nothing but PC works for chatting. For me, I logged in from my phone, but no chat there. Um, yes, if you are on your phone and the image takes the whole screen, then there's no space left for chatting. So that was my son. As I said, he's completely freaking out about his Scouts camp next week. He's at his dad, and his dad has no experience whatsoever with Scouts camping, and he has no idea how to comfort our son that everything will be okay. So that's the second time he's calling me tonight. He might call again. And yes, I do have to pick up because I'm the only one who can reassure him in this stressful time. Okay, I think we've waited long enough for people to join in. I just can't believe how swollen my hands are. Well, it's D minus 1.5. And then I can start unswelling. This is what I'm going to be working with. So this is the France Papillon text and embellishment kits, which I designed for one of my Hochenda TV shows, which contains a whole bunch of things. And I had one here, which I've already opened, so I'm going to reopen this one. So that I can show you everything that's inside, because there's a lot of stuff in there. So you have several tags from sizes that you can combine. As you can see, you have 3 different sizes. It's better. And you have 3 of each so that you can stack them, combine them in this way. So these are the tags. And then you have 3 big sheets of embellishments. And again, these can be combined in all sorts of ways. For example, and I'm going to grab them here to show you. Let's see what I can do with these. So when you pop them out, this is what you will have. I mean, you have a lot of pieces, so I'm not going to pop out everything. But for example, these and these have completely different shapes, yet you can still, and this is what I like about them, you can still combine those, and that gives you very funny, funky combinations. You could just keep them assembled in the way that they're being cut out, or you can keep the shapes combined with the same shapes together. Or like I said, you can mix them up, and you can mix up like just about anything. And there's another fly, like this one, for example. This could work too. And that too gives you a fun thing. So you have all these little shapes in here. I don't even know how many pieces there are in total. I know it's on my web shop. It's written on my web shop because I had to count them and write it, but I don't remember how many there are. And then these are my favorite pieces. You have 3 of these. And this is what I used, for example, to make this. So you might think that this is a rusted washer with inside one of my little hearts like I like to make, but it's not. It's made with these. And then, of course, you have the eeny, meeny, tiny heart. And I do have an example made with that one. Let me keep it close. Let's see if the camera can focus. So again, that is one of those washers. So that is this one with inside the mini heart. So I just used paint and mediums to obtain this effect. So these are my favorites. For my next kit, I want to have many, many, many of these little circle thingies because those are the ones I like best as well. I have some examples that I can show you. So this is one that combines the 3 sizes of the tags and then 2 different little, how do you call these, frames? That's what I was looking for. Combining different frames with inside the fake washer and the little heart. This is one I made during the TV show as a demo. It has suffered from travel, but hey, it's still a tag, right? This is another one that I made during the TV show. I didn't have much time, so I had to keep it pretty simple. And then this is one that Di Oliver made. So she is the owner of the company that cuts the gray board for me. Hi, Tashi, welcome. And I really like how she incorporated my squid stamp in several levels. I don't know if you can see it because it's stacked and then it continues. The stamping continues on the layer underneath. So really like how she made this. Hi, Helen, welcome. So tonight I'm going to be making another one of these tags, and I have to admit that I have absolutely no clue, no idea of what I'm going to do. I only know that I'm going to do something. I still have these. I might use this one because it already has modeling paste on it, and then I won't be losing too much time with this drying. I might combine it to, sorry, one of these. And do I want to use this one? Nope, I don't. Hello, Deborah. Hi, Viv. Welcome. Aren't you? Come on. You have to admit that this is completely amazing. We are on YouTube. It is working. And the image seems to be working fine. It's not pixelated. You have no idea how happy this makes me. I have been stressing all afternoon. I tested it several times to see if everything was working okay. And it is. No pixels. It's working. No, I need a bigger tag. A bigger tag. This one. So this is one of the things that I like as well, that you have like these 3 sizes of tags that you can combine. Perfect image. Isn't that amazing? For the last hangout this week. So on this one, I applied modeling paste. You shouldn't tempt fate. I trust in the gods of technology. I applied modeling paste using, I think it's the small, but I'm not sure. Is it the small one? Yes, it's the small one. So my small rock formation stencil. And it's not something that is really appealing to me now, but as the paste is already dry, I think it would be stupid not to take advantage of the time that I could win with this. So I am going to use this. Now, to think what I'm going to do with these, first I'm going to apply a layer of paint on this one, and this will give me some time to think. I'm going to try not to knock over my camera because I haven't prepped. That was not smart, by the way. I haven't prepped any paints or anything. I should have taken a couple of things out. So let me grab. I want to use this one combined with this one. That'd be crazy. Combined with this one. That's a start. I'm already going to take my Quin Gold because obviously I'm going to need Quin Gold at some point. It would be stupid not to take it already. I think I'm going to use some Whisper as well. And let's start with these. Oh, I need some treasure. I don't know why, but I need some treasure. You never know. So When I'm stuck like this and I don't really know what to do, I just start by applying a layer of paint that keeps, that will kickstart your mojo, that will already get you into movement. And I'm going to start, I'm going to start with these. And meanwhile, you have the time to think about what you want to do next. And at least you're not just sitting there thinking, what could I do? Just do something. So the good thing about these chalky finish is that, well, because they contain chalk, they don't need a sublayer. They don't need a primer. I can just go in straight with the chalk paint. And actually, gesso, which is a primer, is nothing more than an acrylic paint which contains marble powder, which you could compare a little bit to the sand. It's reacting more or less in the same way. I need to clean my paintbrush to avoid having everything in the same green color. I do want my dark green to be a bit more visible. There we go. I need to change my camera because I have a perfectly blended something and the camera is showing as something not blended at all. Camera, you're not doing me justice. That is not nice. And let's add a little bit more here, which of course I need to blend. You're also quiet again. You were like all chatty and now you're also quiet. Okay, popping this back in here. Where's my palette knife? Nope. Nope. Okay. Okay, I have like 10 palette knives, but 10 palette knives in front of me, but I want this one. It's like when you have 20 pair of shoes and you always put on the same shoes. Same thing with the palette knife. Entranced, wow, Tashi. Okay. Now, before I apply a second layer on this one, I'm going to do something with this one because I know that I want to use crackle on this one. And that needs some time to dry. So let's just give it a layer of paint. That's a lot of paint. And no, I did not rinse my paintbrush, and that's okay. So as my gray board is quite thick, it's 2 millimeter, I'm going to do the edge on this one as well. Which I didn't do on the other tag, but that's because that's not my main color that will be visible in the end. Neither is this, well, yes, okay, this is not going to be the main color either, but the second color is not going to be that visible on the edges. So I might as well add this one. Okay. And now I can, again, put this back in. Love that color. Which color, Sophia? This brownish one? That is Restore. The color of this one is Restore. So today here again, we had an excruciating hot day. And what is worrying me is that for this weekend, they've announced 36 and 37 degrees. So, yeah, I think I'm going to suffer. My resting period post-surgery is going to be a bit of a torture. You had rain. Oh, lucky you. They said we might have some thunder this afternoon. We had nothing. We had sunshine, sunshine, and sunshine. And like I said, it's going to get worse. So before applying my crackle medium, I need this to be completely dry. And considering the heat we have, it dries very fast. So on top of that, I'm going to apply a layer of crackle medium. It's from the same line as the chalk paints. Yeah, well, I don't think it rained anywhere in Belgium, Natasha. And seriously, we're going to have to brace ourselves for the weekend. I have several ventilators in the attic, which I still haven't taken out. That's how much I hate these things. But I've decided that tomorrow I'm going to bring them down so that on Friday when I'm back from the hospital that I can still breathe in my own house. Otherwise, it's going to be completely unbearable. Well, even more unbearable than it already is. So I'm just applying this using, as you can see, it's pretty liquid. So I could not apply this using a palette knife because it is too liquid. And I am making sure that I have a layer that is thick enough to move, but not too thick. Otherwise, it will be too sluggish to move. And then another thing, I started this side painting this way. So I'm also doing the same thing on the other side. I did have a movement like this, and then I remember, oh, you cannot do that. And then I started, because the way you're applying the medium will give direction to the crackles. So if I have this part going this way and that part going that way, I will have a line in the middle where the cracks will be like this, and I don't want that. Let's see if I can get these back together. It has rain here too, but it's still hot and humid. Well, over here, over the news, they asked to put water out for the birds and other little animals that live outside. Especially now because all the baby birds are hatching and they just cannot find water because everything dried up outside. So I now have a little container out with water for the birds. So I'm leaving that one to dry by itself. I'm not going in with my heat gun. I think you know why, because that's how we handle crackle. This can take one more blow with the heat gun. And now I'm going to use that same restore paint as I used for the other tag. And that's the paint making funny noises, just in case you had doubts. Okay. So you might think what the point can be to apply two paints on top of one another. How's your hand? My hands are still swollen, as you can see, especially my left one, which is funny because my right side is my bad side and my left side is suffering more now than the right side. So yeah, it's still swollen. So I'm looking forward to. Actually, tonight is the last. No, tomorrow night. Oh, I was getting ahead of myself. Tomorrow night is the last night that I have to take my hormones. Woohoo! This morning I went to the bank and they have like these very strange opening hours. Oh, Viv, your picture has frozen. Anyone else who has a frozen image? Please let me know. Okay, so Viv, I'm sorry, but this time it's your connection. So I went to the bank. They have these very strange opening hours, especially now during the summer holiday. But as I am a very regular client of them, well, they don't only do it for me, they do it for all their regular clients. If you have urgent business during the week and you know they're there, you can just knock on the window and they will open the bank for you. And that's what I did. I knocked. And when they came and opened the door, I said, "Why is it written on the paper here that you're open today if you're not open?" And they said, "The paper doesn't say we're open on Tuesday." I said, "But it's Wednesday." And they looked at me like, "You need a vacation." I was ready to go to the hospital tomorrow. I have to wait a bit longer. So I dried my paint and now I'm going in using a baby wipe. And I'm taking back part of the, what's this called? Restore paint away. And that's the fun thing about having this texture, because this texture is making this technique very interesting. I could have enhanced this by adding crackle medium in between the two layers, but I think that this technique is already interesting by itself, just like this. And I have to be careful not to wipe too hard because otherwise my bottom layer is also going to come off from the modeling paste. And that is not what I want. I still want my modeling paste to look green. So it's a bit of work to wipe the paint back off, especially when it's hot like this, because by the time you do one side, the other side is already drying. If you let this sit for too long, you won't be able to lift the top layer anymore. It will just become permanent. So the layer needs to be dry, but not dry like cured. So cured is when the paint has dried all the way through. I should have some background music for when I'm quiet like this. But that's because I'm working hard in this heat to get this paint off. Shh, Gim. So I'm not insisting on this side because I already know that I want to have this one here. So there's no point in making that side super duper pretty. And now that I'm placed this here, I see that I need to do a little bit more here to make it more interesting. I have Nala to sing to me. Lucky you. No, his name is Gimli, like the dwarf from The Lord of the Rings. And I didn't pick that name. This is a rescue dog. So when I adopted him, that was already his name, which I thought was pretty cool. Okay. And the youngest dog's name is Carly because it had to be with a Q. That's a big dog bark. He is a big boy. He is. Well, he's actually just a chocolate lab. Chocolate labs are not that, well, normally not that big, but he is big. For a chocolate lab, he is big. And his bark makes him sound like he's a St. Bernard or something like that. I'm already going to add a next little something to this. And that is going to be some stamping. Chocolate lab. 2 black labs. Yeah. We're the good ones. Oh, Viv. So, like we said, this is something on your end because for everyone else, there was apparently a short buffering moment, but it didn't last that long. So, how do you spell that name? Let me write it. Like that. So I'm wiping the back side of my stamp because it's not sticking anymore. So I wipe it with a baby wipe and then I dry it with my skin because that's the best way to make it sticky again. Allez, va te coucher. Gib. No? Voilà. Gimli was looking unhappy because he wanted to go under my table to be close to my feet because seriously, it's not hot enough. I need something to keep my feet warm, right? But he was making it clear that I was taking up too much space for him to go through. I am going to use an acrylic block because I only want to stamp on the erased part. And if I stamp just like this, I might be stamping everywhere. And that's not what I want. Sherry, yes, the video will remain available on the Patreon page forever and ever. So you can rewatch it whenever you have time. I thought that Marit would jump in. She probably will later on. And I'm stamping with archival ink. Well, my erased parts are not that erased because I'm still stamping everywhere. And that's okay. And some more here and here. There we go. So this is just a dry cloth to wipe off my stamp. Like I said before, no baby wipes to clean my stamps. I love them way too much to clean them. Too early, she might still be eating with the girls. They're on holiday, so she might still be eating. And then I want to add I'm going to use this one. So I took my black, I have my little wheel next to my table with all my blending tools. She is still laying in the sea? No, I don't think so. So the reason I'm not doing this with Distress ink is that I have acrylic all over. So Distress ink will take like forever +1 to dry on here as my archival ink. But I am being stupid. Before doing this, I want to do this. So this is a distressing, no, this is not my foot. How do you call it? Nope. This is a distressing tool by Prima from Ingvild Bolm. It's an old thing, actually. And the fun thing is that you have all kind of distressing tools on there. You have this plastic edge, a rasp. Thank you, Natasha. Is that do you say that in English? A rasp? Sounds like a wasp. You have this grade thing. Wow, a rasp. I learned the word. But my favorite word is still beveled. And then you have like a real knife in between here. Here you have a softer version of this one. And then here, because that's not all, you also have, if I can still open it, these tough metallic thingies. So this is an interesting tool to do stuff like this. Yes. Oh, so you didn't know, you just said something. Well done, you, Natasha. So for this side, again, like this is going to be here, so I'm not going to insist too much, but I do need to do the top and the bottom, otherwise it won't be pretty. But if I do it all the way, it might be harder to glue my gray board down. Did you cut the board shapes out yourself? This is actually one of my kits. Tashi, this is something that I showed at the beginning of the video. So this is the France Papillon text and embellishment kits. And then you have all these pieces in there and many, many, many more. I will re-show a couple later on because I'm going to be using them. And then you will see the other shapes as well. Because you can still rewatch it, Tashi, that's okay. Because these are shapes that you could indeed cut yourself, but these are not shapes that you could cut yourself. And the washers and hearts, like these, are definitely not shapes that you could cut yourself. Okay, now I need to clean this because I have dust all over. Well, and now I can go in with Distress ink because now this is just gray board and it's no longer acrylic paint. So I can grab my Distress inks. This is walnut stain. I would like to have my vintage photo first. These three are always on my table. They're like, it's like the holy grail of Distress inks. And I still like to go in with some water. Well, it's not water, it's a baby wipe, obviously. That is one color. Now, second color, and I'm using the same blending tool for that one. No, they're on my web shop. I just added them like a week or so ago. I don't think they're allowed to add them to their web shop because it was for the Hochanda TV show. So I don't know if they can add it on their shop. So with the black, I'm being like light-handed because I don't want everything to turn black. So I'm not going everywhere with the black color. Okay, it's too dark to my liking, but for now I'm going to leave it like this because I don't know how my two other tags are going to turn out, so I will rectify if needed later on. So I can put this one aside. This one is almost dry, but as you can see, there's still an area that's a bit wet, so I need to leave it to dry some more. So meanwhile, I can think about this fella and what I want to do with him. First layer, let's keep it light. This is the Whisper color. And I think my Whisper color has dried a bit, or it's almost empty. That could be... Oh no, it has dried. But in the world of mixed media, this is not long enough. Okay, I need something that's thin enough and long enough. Are you going to do the thing? Yeah. There we go. As you can see, it turned into real paste. So I'll be mixing this with some water later on so that it turns into something really... Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, okay. So be it. It's like putting butter on a sandwich. This is a very glorious thing to do, which makes me think that I should be working a bit more with thicker paints. So there's no point in insisting in the middle part because that's where my other tags are going to come on top of it. But it's so fun to do that I'm having a moment here. I'm having a moment with my paint. Please excuse us. Okay, I want some more texture. Come on. There you go. I don't know how to formulate the question, but I give it a go. What technique can you use with stamps that are easy mounted and those who are not? Okay. When your stamps are not mounted, that means that the rubber is even more bendable. And I think I can show you. I can show you with these. These are my Stamptique stamps, which I unmounted myself, which is completely ridiculous. So they arrive wood mounted, and then I unmount them so that I can travel with them. Because when I go teaching, traveling with wooden blocks is not an option. So this one, I remounted it on Klingeling. By the way, Klingeling is much easier to use than Easy Mount. I've been using Easy Mount for like 10 years. And I switched to Klingeling a year ago, and Klingeling is much, much easier to use to mount your stamps on. And it stays, the back stays stickier for longer than the Easy Mount. So this one is mounted, this one is not. So if I have something that's very texturized and I want to go stamping in really, in the creases in a really detailed way, this will be easier to use than this because I can completely bend it. So I can really go and push it into the creases. This one, you mean? The one with the circles? As for this one, Natasha, do you mean the one with the circles or the one with the text? Let me know. As for this one, as it is mounted, I can still bend it, but if I put them side by side, you can see the difference. If I bend this further, I'm gonna ruin the backside. This is lined circles from Stamptique. So with that one, I can go really into the creases. If I want to do a very selected stamping, with this one, I can play around with the rubber, which will be harder to do with this one, because the Easy Mount is going to determine how my rubber is moving. As for this one, it's not the case. I can just move it around the way I want. On the other hand, if you want to have a precise stamping, this will be very hard. It will be much easier with this one because of the mount, because first of all, just when you use it this way, it's sturdier, and you can mount it on an acrylic block, which you cannot do with this one. And then a last thing, I like to use my stamps when I do encaustic painting, which is with beeswax. And then I like to use the rubber just like this, because the wax can be hot. The rubber can take it, the Easy Mount cannot. So that's another reason as well. Though I haven't worked with encaustic in quite a while because of lack of time. And why do I have all these little thingies up here? But that was one of the other reasons to have them unmounted. And I'd rather have someone mount their stamps than to have to pay for a mounted something and then to have them unmount, them like I do with my Stamptique stamps. Okay, one more time with this one. And I don't think I'm going to add water to this one. I think I'm going to keep it just like this because I really like what it's doing. I don't know if you can see it, but it's very subtle. The texture is like really, really, really soft, but it's there. You're welcome, hon. That's what we're here for. I mean, by all means, if you have questions, fire away. That's what I say all the time. Now I understand why glazing cakes is so much fun, because this is what I feel like. This is what it feels like, glazing cake. Except that I'm trying not to have it too smooth. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I could keep this going for a very long time, and this is not the most interesting thing for you, especially that the camera is not picking up all that texture difference. Voila. And of course, this needs some drying. Actually, yeah, I'm too late. I was thinking that I could stamp. You know what? I'm gonna try. It might be too dry already, but that's okay. Nonetheless, I'm going to try. So I'm going to grab. This one is done on easy mount. Never again. I'm going to grab this stamp. Now, before I go into the paint, I am going to give it a little layer if I can find it. Okay. I am looking for my embossing ink, which I have found here. So before I go into the paint, I go into the embossing ink to avoid having paint sticking to my stamp. And I think it's already too dry because I don't think I'm having any texture going into. I use spray mount or glue stick to stick to an acrylic block for some of my stamps. Yeah, you can do that too. That's another option. Ooh, here it wasn't dry, and I do have some texture. I'll hold it up to the camera when I'm done. Someone just joined us. Say hi. Who are you? Don't be shy. We already had dinner. We're not going to eat you. Okay, I think I only have real texture over here and maybe a little bit here. So let me see if I can. So what you're actually seeing is the embossing ink, but over here, you can clearly see the texture, but there's more than the camera is picking up. So it will be interesting to go into with something to enhance it. And then there's some more over here as well. So if I had done this faster, I would have had more prints into, but then again, it might have been less interesting to have it everywhere. So, as I've said before, the only moment where I do clean my stamp is when I use embossing ink, which I have just done. So now I have no choice but to clean my stamp. Otherwise, next time that I go in with ink, I'm going to have a problem. I'm very sorry, stamp. I still love you. I hope you will forgive me. Okay. So let's completely heat set this and make sure that this ink is dry as well. Because I don't want to have any residue of embossing ink on there. I want to enhance the texture that I have, obviously, over there. So I am going to grab, I'm thinking how to do this without knocking over the camera. When I'm by myself, I don't care if I knock it over. It will shake like for half an hour and then I can continue filming, but I don't want to make you seasick. So let's go in with some patina green antiquing cream. And the reason I'm doing it with my finger is because I really want to push it into the creases because that is what is going to make this interesting. I could just do it with a paintbrush, but what would be funny about that? No, it wouldn't be that much fun, wouldn't it? Let me know when it's done, Helen. Okay, so it's on my side. Is it still buffering? Well, we do have to accept some kind of little disruptions, right? I mean, this wasn't too bad. Well, I think we can conclude that I did solve all the problems. Not bad for someone who's not an ITer. Remember that blog post I wrote? You always use kitchen towel. Do you use sometimes an old fabric towel to wipe the surface or even use it on your projects? I have an old towel. Well, it's not an old towel. It's a cloth. Sometimes I use it. Sometimes I don't because I don't have the patience. Because it's so much easier to just grab a piece of kitchen towel. And yes, I have used pieces of that fabric on projects. Is there a reason why you don't use gesso before painting? Yes, because I'm working with chalky finish, and chalky finish contains chalk, obviously. So there wouldn't be much point in having gesso on the surface first, because it would have the same effect as directly painting with this. And on top of things, this already has color, so I'm just skipping an unnecessary step. And the second reason is I work in my art journal, I work on watercolor paper. If I would put gesso first, I would just kill the effect of my watercolor paper. Sometimes I do it to have a special effect, like I did on the last page, um, like I did on the live journal with me last week, where I did this one. So this one has some gesso on there because I wanted to have the effect of the gesso on the watercolor paper. But mostly, I like my paint to be directly on the watercolor paper. Otherwise, there's no point in using such an expensive paper if it's to cover it up with gesso first. Um, there is this trend of putting gesso on anything and everything. I think gesso has its virtues, but I also think that at some point we need to open our eyes to what the other products are doing if we leave the gesso away. Like I said, like using chalky finish with gesso, there's just no point in doing that. You can easily replace your gesso by chalky finish. If you're working, sorry, on a surface porous, on a porous surface, sorry, not if you're working on an unporous surface. That changes the whole game, of course. But I'm only working on porous surfaces, so there's no point in doing that. I was going to say something else, and now I don't remember what it was, but that's okay. If someone remembers, let me know so that I can pick my train of thought again. This might be too wet, so I'm not going to go in with the baby wipe because otherwise I'm just going to wipe everything away, and that is not what I want to do. So, meanwhile, my antiquing cream is dry because if it's well, it remains water reactive. So if I wipe with this, you can see it's already coming back off, though it's dry. So if I do this when it's still wet, it comes off like completely and immediately. So I'm just going to slightly wet this one and then use this because I don't want to have everything come back off. Oh, yes, I remember what I was going to say. Remember that blog post I wrote about the dream job? Jan, if you're looking at this on the Patreon page, you might want to join us on YouTube. Just click on the link to go straight to YouTube so that you can chat with us, because we cannot chat on the Patreon page. So in that blog post, I wrote about all the hats that you have to wear as an artist like I am. So I am a full-time mixed media artist, which means that my full-time day job is to be an artist. But I have to deal with everything like a normal company. But in a normal company, you have an IT service, you have a, I can't find the word. You have a secretary, you have a shipping service, you have a marketing service. Hi, Tanya, welcome. You have all these different services which each have their own job and they each cover one part of the thing. Artists like myself, we have to cover every single part of everything. So yeah, one day I will be doing invoices for my accountant, because yes, I do have an accountant, but I cannot show up there and not have everything super duper prepped. He will just show me the door and ask me to come back when I've done my homework. So today I was an IT woman again. I've been several times this week, but yeah, it's part of the game to have to wear all these different hats, even if it's not your specialty. So I don't know if the camera is really picking up what it should be, but this is the end result. And I have to say that there's like eeny, meeny, tiny, it's like, oh, come on, camera. Zoom in. Do you need something underneath? No. So I have like all this funky texture here, which the blue patina is like really nicely picking up. And then of course this part, which is very interesting. And then another fun effect is that the embossing ink has acted as a resist. So the paint, the antiquing cream just came back off where I have the stamping. It's showing up on your screen? Oh, good, because over here it's like so soft when it's actually really up in your face. So let's see how these two work together. It's so frustrating to cover this up, but hey, there is no way not to do that, right? I could cut off, if this wasn't a video, that's probably what I would do. I would shorten this. I would cut off a part here so that I see more of all of this. But I don't have a cutter here, do I? I don't think so. I'm not going to start looking for all of that. I mean, there's more interesting things to do than that. And as I said, this one is pretty dark, but I'm first going to finish off the other one, this one, to see what I want to do with that one again. So this is completely dry. Am I going to paint it on, or am I going to do it with a sponge? I'm going to do it with a sponge because I really like that effect. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Tu dois sortir? Okay, my dog is asking me to go out. I'll be back in 1 second and a half. Allez, venez. Gentil, hein? Okay, I'm sorry about that, but they needed to go out. stagger it more. What does that mean, Helen? Oh, a dog's gonna do what a dog's gonna do. Well, I think he wants to go outside because he can hear through the window that the neighbor's dog is outside, and he just cannot stand the neighbor's dog for I don't know what reason. So I'm not picking up paint and going directly in, because then I would have a big blob of paint, and then I would have a big blob of, wow, that's hard to say, a big blob of paint on my tag. And that is not what I want to do. Now, the thing is not to go back over the paint. So it's just applying it in one move. And when you do that, you get the best crackles in the world. Stagger, move the crackled tag more to the left. I want that middle tag to be centered, because this one is already going to be. You had the top layer centralized if you were to set to offset it. Yes, but then I would cover the other side of the texture. I don't want that either. Because the other side has fun texture as well. I want everything to be visible. I don't want to cover it up, actually. You know what? I might be making two separate things. How about that? But that means that I would need to finish this part with the antiquing cream. Okay, come on, crackle, because that's what we're here for. I have extremely thin crackles. I don't even know if you can see it. It's like microscopic crackles. So let's see where we're going with this. Oh no, 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 no. Look what I'm doing here. Remember that beautiful texture I had there? Well, I think this one has to go there. I'm sorry, but I have to change it. Or the other option is to still put it in the center, which looks actually better. So I'm going to go with that. Which means that I still have to distress this side. Yeah, let's do this first. Very quickly. This one. And a little bit of black. There we go. Now, to make these work together, I'm going to use this one. Whoa, wait, because I have all this dirty stuff here. So I'm going to use this to slightly add a darker edge. And then using a baby wipe, I like the texture on that bottom right. You mean this one? I like it too. I actually still don't want to cover it up. I'm like torturing myself thinking that I still should put these two. I don't want to put those two on top of this one. And you know what? I'm not going to. I'm going to make something different. I'm going to adapt what I have to what I like. No rules to say the bottom layer has to have the top as highest. You know what? I'm not going to use this one. That one is going to end up on another project. I think I'm going to make a full blue project. So remember I said yesterday afternoon that I didn't want to do the first page in my new art journal in front of the camera because, well, this is kind of a special week, obviously. And this afternoon, I had planned to film a new journal on Monday. And the thing is, when I film, I always keep the right to publish it or not, obviously. So I thought I will just have the camera rolling and I will see if I want to publish it or not. And I just couldn't. I didn't do any art journaling because I just, yeah, I was not in the right place to start a new journal. I think that if I had been in the middle of my previous journal, it wouldn't have bothered me. But like to start that new journal, that was not a possibility. So I didn't do it. And I don't think I will do it tomorrow either. Which is okay. I mean, sometimes you just have to be patient with yourself. So I think that something like this is going to happen. And that is going to make me much happier than this. So what I am going to do, though, I still have these on my table from another project. So I think this one is, yeah, it's the same size. I thought it was a bit smaller, but it's not, but I can still make it smaller. Just so that I have something in between the two layers. But I don't like this color. But I might like this color. Oh no, I know which color I'm going to like. Maybe after the operation when you get your new beginning. Yeah, I know, it's exactly that. And at the same time, this is one of the things that's worrying me that if I don't start to feel in a new place, so surgery is Thursday, if I don't start to feel in that new place by Friday morning, I will be unhappy. And at the same time, I'm like, you have to be realistic about this. If your surgery is Thursday, your new life is not going to start on Friday. It might take a bit more time than the day after. But hey, I know I'm an impatient little something. So, yeah, I know it's not my first surgery. I know it takes time. But yeah, I'm an impatient. I've always been, and at the same time, it's a good thing that I am because it is what got me out of my wheelchair. so many years ago. So think, how am I going to do this? This is not going to work, so I'm going to do it this way. So I want my paper to be just a tiny bit bigger than this actual tag. So in my planner, for each day, I have 3 blocks. I have the morning. Well, I have a first block, which is normally morning, afternoon, and evening. Those are the 3 blocks. But what I do is that I have the first block for all my to-do lists. So each day has its own to-do list. And then the bottom block is the 2 bottom blocks is the planning of the day. What is happening when? And all the things that are on the to-do list do not appear in these 2 bottom blocks, because those are the small little things to do for like each day. Well, I can tell you that in my planner for Thursday and Friday, I have a to-do list. I don't know if I'll be able to do any of it, but I'm like, it's all easy and yeah, soft stuff. But at least if I'm bored, I'll have something planned to do. And now, yeah, I know, I'm an impatient patient. That's what my doctor always says. I know. So I crumpled the paper so that I can do stuff like this to make it more interesting. The thing is that when I need to sleep, I do sleep. So if anything like that happens end of the week, I will be sleeping. And now I'm thinking that I really like this, so I'm going to do more of this. Now I need pages where I have actual text. That is not what I meant to do. Okay. If that YouTube lady would see me, she would say again that I'm a horrible person, tearing up an old book like that. Okay. Well, Helen, the thing is that when I need to sleep, I just cannot function anymore. It's been like that since the accident. There's probably a medical reason for that. And I'm okay with it. I mean, I've learned to live with it. I'm okay with it. She doesn't deserve any more airtime. What do you mean? What do you mean I don't deserve any more airtime? Well, there won't be any hangout or live before next Thursday or Wednesday. I don't remember. It's on the monthly planning. Oh, that woman. It's okay, Helen. You have to feel for her. I mean, can you imagine having to live with yourself when you're like that? I don't think that's the most pleasant thing there is, right? Poor woman. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing, crumpling it up. Ah, I don't know if it was a mosquito or a fly, but something was trying to eat me. Good thing I'm big. I feel for you, but I can't reach. Well, I always think that if you don't have anything nice to say, just be quiet. That is one thing. And the other thing is, I thank her for spending time on my YouTube channel because every minute someone's watching, I am earning a couple of cents. So thank you for spending time on my channel and making me earn a couple of cents. And who knows, she clicked on other videos and was brought back to the advertisement. And that's more than just a couple of cents. That's like 20 cents for her spending time on my channel. So I can only thank her for doing that for me. Right? So when someone leaves nasty comments on my YouTube channel, that is one of the things that I keep in mind. That these people are making it possible for my ads to be the ads that I put on the YouTube videos for those to be seen. And by the way, there will never be ads on the Patreon videos ever. Zero, nada. Okay, that was a bit drastic, but that's okay. That's a big chunk gone. Well, that is one of the reasons that I cannot bother to um, feel bad when I have a negative comment. It's still someone who spent time on my channel, so thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to not put them all in exactly the same place so that it's a bit more interesting. And this is going to go. No, it's still covering everything up. Okay. Back together, back together. Smaller. There we go. Ah, buffering. Don't worry, Sharon. I won't be doing anything interesting while it's buffering for you. Oh, okay. So it's only for Sharon that it's buffering. So the cool thing about the paper is that I can curl it up so that the bottom is still visible and it makes it more interesting at the same time. I'm trying to separate the layers. There we go. Okay, much better. I'm going to use that same technique on this one, and I'm going to try to wipe away a little bit of that turquoise. Come on, computer. Yeah, it does look cool. Thanks, Sophia. Like I said, I had no idea what I was going to do, so just going with the flow. So when you're doing this, when you're wiping with a baby wipe on top of crackled chalky finish, you have to be careful because the moist is moving the paint around and it is killing your cracks. So you have to be very gentle with that. Otherwise, you're just killing all the cracks that you put so much effort in creating. Okay, I'm not going to do any more. Can you see that wet edge here? That is where my crackles are less visible now because the paint did move around slightly. Okay, cool. I need, of course, something like this to put on top here. And let's go with this, just because those are on the table. I'm going to add some stamping on this one and some stamping on this one. But first, I'm going to put some paint on this very quickly because we've already been busy, wow, for an hour and a half. Think. Okay, I'm going to do this one with this first. So I'm going to simply reuse those same colors. Just to keep it simple and to go fast. Whoops, sorry. That's the cable. Stay back there. So again, I don't need gesso because I'm painting with chalky finish. If this was regular fluid acrylic, I might add a first layer of chalky finish. Hey, Marit! We were surprised you weren't here sooner. Natasha thought you were still swimming. She said she's still swimming in the sea. Were you? Did you go swimming? Oh, flying kites. Living the life. So was everything okay with the car parking situation? Oops, that's way too much paint. A butterfly kite. So for those who don't know, I actually don't like butterflies. If you look at a butterfly up close, it's basically a fly with pretty wings. I mean, it has disgusting eyes, it has a disgusting tongue. People always go like, oh, butterfly, and I'm like, ooh, a butterfly. Stay away from me. And yes, I know my name means butterfly. And yes, I have a butterfly tattooed on my arm, but that one doesn't have any eyes or disgusting tongue or whatever. It will be fine. Cool, cool, Marit. I'm happy you got it sorted for you. So yes, I do need to take the time to add paint all over because this is pretty dimensional and all the sides will be seen. Weird question. I wanted to throw some chocolate money to France just now, and there isn't a place for a random donation on the Patreon page, only for joining the tiers, which already belong to one. Tanya, that is so, so sweet. But seriously, if you're one of my patron, that already means so, so much to me. Okay, I'm completely out of my wow. Um, I really, really, really appreciate, but I'd rather have you and keep you as a patron for a very long time. That would mean much more to me than any little extras. Wow. But thank you so much for the thought. This made your day. It made mine too. Um, Doing this is keeping my mind off the surgery. That is one of the reasons of doing it. No, another one of the reasons is that um, I don't know when I'll be able to do this again. I hope it will be next week. So I wanted to put in as much as I can beforehand. Being one of my patrons means the world to me, Tanya. Seriously, each and every one of you. Um, wow. Okay, I'm all emotional now, Tanya. This is your fault. Between Sophia, who wants to send me dates, and Tanya, who wants to send me chocolate money, I'm like, wow, how can one not feel blessed under these circumstances? Um, I'm going to keep it very simple for these. I'm going to use the same technique as I did for this one, just one layer of paint, second layer of paint, and then simply wiping. And to create a contrast, I'm going to do this one with this paint, and then this one with this paint, so that I have some kind of difference between. Oh yes, I remember this one was completely dry. Let's see if I have another one. Just give me a second so that I can look in my, how do you call that in English? The Alibaba cave. Do you know that story? The Alibaba cave, where there's all the hidden treasures. Because I had another one in there, and this one sounds healthy. Yes, there we go. That's paint. That's actual paint. So the dates I'm talking about, that I've been talking about with, yeah, from 1001 Arabian Nights, absolutely. Um, so the dates I'm talking about, I just put my hand in the paint. Well done me. When I was in Sweden last time, the owner of the shop where I was teaching made me try some dates which have a coating of licorice. I love licorice. I love dates, but I wasn't sure about the combination. Well, let me tell you, I came back home from Sweden with, I think it was 15 bags of those dates. And I have like one or two dates left. I ate all the rest. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, exactly. I'm the thief who goes regularly in my. It is delicious. Oh my God, it is delicious. So I need to go back to Sweden because I'm out of dates. You grow them. Where do you live, Tanya? Where are you from? So I have the Marmite from the UK. I have the dates with licorice from Sweden. I have Reese's peanut butter cups from the States and beef jerky, of course. Oh, near Palm Springs. Yeah. Well, the heat that we have now must be like nothing for you. Lemon ice cream with licorice. I will try it because that sounds like heaven on a plate. Luckily for me, now here in the store, they do have Reese's peanut butter cups and beef jerky. The only problem is that it costs €7 for, how much is it? 25 grams. So €7, that would be like a little less than $10 for 25 grams. That's like 3 bites and you're done. So the reason that I have lighter color on this one, it means that I can stamp directly on here. I don't need to put a piece of lighter paper in between. Because if my background is too dark, my stamping will not be visible enough to my liking. So I'm being careful not to wipe away too much, otherwise I will still have to put paper. What is it, Margaret and Natasha? Oh, stroopwafels. Well, yes and no. I mean, if I have to choose, those are not on my list of favorites. On the other hand, the babloed from the Netherlands, those might end up on my list of favorites. That's what you get when you travel this much. You have like all these little things from several countries that you just like. Okay, and then this one I'm going to do with a darker color so that it stands out from this background. Okay, I think it's almost time to try to put on the lights because it's getting seriously dark in here and my camera is, I think, having a hard time to make the image look with the Burn Brew from Scotland. What is that? Oh, is that some kind of beer? I don't drink beer, so problem solved. Okay, I'm sorry. I need some lights. Look away from your screen because it's going to flash. And here it goes. 3, 2, 1. And it's going to flash again, putting on the second light. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And now I can see what I'm doing. Oh my God. So I'm not putting too much an effort to have the paint go everywhere because I am going to wipe some of it away. And this is already like a smallish thing. Sophia, the stroopwafels are like 2 very thin waffles with a syrupy filling in between. And now you can see how much paint I just had on my hand. I wasn't lying when I said that I put my hand in the paints. Okay, now same thing. I'm going to gently wipe this so that it looks distressed. So this is so thin that it's, as you can see, it's a bit elastic. So you have to be gentle and careful with it. Otherwise you will just rip it. Okay, and this is going to go on top of my other tags. And it's too big to put it this way. Well, I could put it that way, but I think it's going to be more interesting if I put it this way. Okay, a bit of distress ink on these two. Can you even see what I'm doing? Because this is so small and I'm like, what's the point? They cannot see any of that. Where's my, here it is. Very gently because the corners are like too sharp. So I don't really want to distress it like to, you have imagination. So I could not use this on that one, obviously, because it would just get destroyed. And that's a lot of distress ink. So going back in with my baby wipe. And there we go. And you know what? I'm going to reuse this stamp on this one. Just to remind what we have in that background. Like very lightly. I said lightly, which this is not, and that's a good thing that it's done with distress ink because now I can simply lift the ink. Voila. Okay, it's 10 minutes to 10. I'm going to call this a day for today. I'm only going to finish this during our next hangout because I know what I want to do here. I know what I want to do here. And that is going to take way too long to still do it tonight. When I do a tag like this, well, yes, there will be a heart here. I am going to use one of these um, to put up here, but I want to rust the washer and everything. That is not something that I can do in like 5 minutes, and I want to enjoy the process and not just rush it so that it's finished. So I will keep it just like this, and I will finish it next time that we're together for the hangout, which is next week after my surgery. And as soon as I am up and about, I will let you know so that you know more or less when this is getting back into action. So if you have a question, now is the time. And otherwise, it will have to wait until, well, no, you can still ask me questions tomorrow. But other than that, it will have to wait until next week. May your surgeons be skilled and may you heal well and quickly. He is very skilled, Tashi, and on top of things, he's very human. So I'm completely confident in him. I trust him 100%. As to fast healing, yeah, I'm sure I will. Dorme bene, grazie Tania. Parla italiano. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with me tonight. I'm sorry it's not finished, but you know what? It's like good movies. They end on a how do you call it? On a hanging thread. Is that how you say it? when they want you to come back for episode 2. A cliffhanger. Thank you, Tanya. That's what I was looking for. I'm leaving you on a cliffhanger. Tune in next time to see how this tag will be finished. You have no idea what's coming. See you next week. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with me here tonight. And I'll see you, I was going to say on the other side, but that's that's a creepy expression at this time of my life. So thank you. Keep talking on the Facebook group. Keep talking on the Patreon page. And see you as soon as possible. Okay, signing out. We'll be back, Michiel says. I'll be back. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.